Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. Good evening. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, VK3 EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with a regular Friday night broadcast coming to you from the studios of VK3 CSJ in Narre Warren South. Very pleasant good evening to everybody that's tuning in tonight via the various mediums that we've got going. A very pleasant good evening to the folks that are up at the Leon Mao Dark Sky site. Paul, Phil, and probably Steve Bentley. Not too sure about Steve, but anybody else that's up there at the Dark Sky side, a very pleasant good evening to you chaps. Trust that everything is rolling well up at the site up there, and hopefully the weather is not going to be too chilly. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, and we're broadcasting on prime frequency of 3541 kilohertz in the 80 metre amateur radio band, simulcasting on 160 metres AM on 1865 kilohertz, and we're also broadcasting via the Melbourne television repeater, VK3 RTV Digital Channel 1. And we are streaming via the World Wide Web, via YouTube. You can find the YouTube channel by typing in VK3CSJ in the YouTube search engine, and look for VK3CSJ and for the little live symbol, which should be active and going. And you can also find the YouTube stream via the ASV website at www.asv.org.au, and look across to the radio astronomy tab and look for the ASV radio broadcast, and click on that, and it will open up another window where you'll see all the radio broadcast information, and also the YouTube link. If you haven't clicked on it, it'll have a picture of Galaxy Andromeda on it. That's the YouTube channel via the ASV website. Anyway, good evening to everybody, and like I say, trust that everybody is okay this 24th of June, year 2022. Alright, the Astronomical Society of Victoria was founded in 1922, comprises over 1,600 members throughout Victoria and other states of Australia, including overseas. Membership of the Society is open to all persons with an interest in astronomy. The Society's objectives are to encourage the study and practice of astronomy, to disseminate the knowledge of the science, and to provide greater facilities for the study among its members. Monthly meetings are usually held on the second Wednesday of each month, except in January, where the latter being held on a Saturday night. Meetings start at 8 p.m. at the Mullio Hall, Burwood Avenue, Melbourne, near the Melbourne Observatory, which is located adjacent to the Shrine of Remembrance. Parking is available in Burwood Avenue, Dallas Brooks Drive and surrounding streets. Admission is free and visitors are most welcome. Privileges of membership include the right to borrow books, periodicals and other publications from the Society's extensive library located at the Melbourne Observatory. Receipt of the ASV magazine Crux, containing articles, news, observing notes and the like, and the free provision of the Astronomical Yearbook. Access is available to telescopes on members' nights held regularly at Melbourne Observatory and after the monthly meetings, weather permitting. These instruments include the Society's 300mm equatorial reflector and the 300mm portable reflector. There's also a 200mm refractor managed by the Royal Botanic Gardens, and a recently restored photoheliograph are also housed at the observatory and are accessible as well. Society also has a number of 200mm refractors available for short period loan, so members can try before they buy. Regular Society Club Night meetings are held on the first and last Fridays of each month at the Lodge, the Society's property in Burwood. Members are encouraged to use the Society's instruments located there to gain first-hand experience in telescope use. These instruments include a 508mm equatorial reflector and a number of smaller reflectors. Members are also encouraged to make use of the Society's country property located near Heathcote, some 90-minute drive north of Melbourne. There are a range of instruments available for members to use, the larger two only requiring appropriate training, which range from 300mm to 1000mm in aperture. Also located on the site is the 8.5 metre fully steerable radio telescope, which members can access with involvement in the radio astronomy section. Members are encouraged to make and use telescopes. Advice and help on both matters are provided willingly to newcomers desiring to do the same. Instrument making is only one of the number of common interest activities catered for within the Society. Other areas of interest that members can participate in include deep sky observing, astrophotography, lunar and planetary observing, auroral, meteor, comet, radio astronomy, computing, cosmology and astrophysics, historical studies and research and astronomy in general. Contact details for various section directors are provided in the yearbook. Further information may be obtained by visiting the ASV website, and notifications of events are given in the Crux Extra Bulletins sent out via email to members every other week. Please note that the ASV will conform to all government health directives. ASV events may be required to be cancelled, moved or postponed. Further information can be found by writing to the Secretary of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001. That's the Secretary, Astronomical Society of Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001. Otherwise, you can go to the ASV website at www.asv.org.au for all information related to the Society. Membership to the Society can be found right on the homepage, and there's a highlighted membership word that you click on. That'll open up a new page altogether, and there it's all fairly simple, and PayPal is used to join up. So easy peasy Japanesey, as they say. The homepage also has all the latest events with the ASV. So once you go to www.asv.org.au, you see the homepage, Welcome to Astronomical Society of Victoria, and right below that just scroll down and you get a whole heap of information about what's currently up with the Society. And I can see that the public stargazing night has been cancelled due to weather. It's always the way. Anyway, you're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with a regular Friday night broadcast here on 80 metres at 160 AM and by the Melbourne TV repeater. We also have an email address if people wish to send reports, signal reports. You can send email to vk3ekh@gmail.com, vk3ekh@gmail.com. I'm looking at the inbox as we speak. So, yes. I forgot to mention there's also a Discord chat window. If you wish to sign in to the Discord chat window, you can either use your name or come up anonymously or have an alias, or whatever you want to call it. But the chat window can be found via the ASV website. Once again, under the Radio Astronomy tab, look for the link to the ASV broadcast and the chat window, a Discord. We're using Discord. Chat window is a little box with a radio telescope in it, and I can see already that we have a few folks there on the chat window. Very pleasant good evening to David, VK3KDM. He's a member of the Mount Burnett Observatory. G'day Dave. Rob, VK3KHN. We also have Martin, VK7JAH, our resident Launceston station. We have Kim, VK5FUSC, who's there too. Sir Richard, VK3VRS. G'day Richard. And Kim again. So there it is. Go and fill up the chat window while I'm talking. I always look forward to seeing the various comments being spoken about. All right. getting along. We've got a few things tonight. It's already 11 past the hour. Okay, now a bit of a celestial event is occurring this week. So if you're up pretty keen to be up in the morning between 5 and 6 a.m. before sunrise, you'll get a chance to see the alignment of some of our planets in the solar system. It's not a bad arrangement, actually. I've got an image here, courtesy of spaceaustralia.com, courtesy of Brendan O'Brien's Facebook page, because where I saw it. I'll just bring up that image. There it is. Okay. So those watching TV and the YouTube channel will be able to see this lineup of planets. And also for early risers, you'll definitely be in for a treat. The planets align for you tomorrow, or today really, but they should be relatively about the same tomorrow morning if the sky is clear. What a treat we have. The naked eye planets will be aligned in their sequential order from the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, the one you're on of course, the Moon, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. It'll be an excellent opportunity for astrophotographers to capture the apparent alignment. Those who want to go further and some fainter objects like Uranus, Neptune and Vesta are all there too. But you'll need a good dark sky and some equipment to be able to see those. So we hope you all have clear skies, stay warm, and if you're getting up, the best viewing times are around 5 a.m. to 6 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. Look to the east and follow the bright lights from Mercury to Saturn. So that was posted yesterday, so that was pretty much this morning. But that same alignment, I mean, it's not as if things change dramatically in 24 hours. You'll still see that line up tomorrow morning if the sky is clear. So it's always good to see the major solar planets. Hang on, we just had a little message there we've just got from somebody. Let me just confirm what that is all about. Just a little message that's come through. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Thanks, Richard. Okay, I haven't got the radio on. That's just reminded me I don't have the wireless on in the background, do I? No, I don't. It's all off. I'll fix that up in a minute. All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Just a small interruption there. And hang on a sec. Yep. All right. Hang on a sec. Let me get back to the vMix. Right. Okay. There it is. All right. VK3. What is it? EKH. All right. Now, let me see. Next article we have here. This is an interesting one. This has come through in the last 24 hours. Just a slight variation on a theme. I found this article on the ASV's forum, members forum page, courtesy of Katie Green. Katie Green is the new section director for Space Exploration section, and she's been very busy in finding interesting articles, and as soon as she finds something she posts it, and this one was on the ASV's forum page. And alright, let's get into it. This is courtesy of The Age. She hacked an old knitting machine to weave the universe into a work of art. In 2018, Melbourne software engineer Sarah Spencer powered up a mid-1980s era knitting machine. Over the next week, it slowly spat out an anonymous woolen map of the night sky. I've got a picture of her here. I'll just bring that up. Alright, there she is in front of a work of art. Back to the article. So, why? More or less because it was a cool hack, she reckons. After first coming across a similar machine in 2011, she dedicated years of her spare time and maternity leave to bend it to her will, reverse engineering its ancient silicon guts as she learnt the techniques of knitting, adding a robot arm and lots of 21st century tech to turn it into a kind of fuzzy, networked 4-color printer. She used it to make patterned scarves, jumpers with QR codes, laptop covers and baby blankets for friends and her Etsy store, ETSY. But she won a sponsorship from the 2018 electromagnetic field in the UK, a summer camping festival for 5,000 hackers for a bigger project. So she programmed the machine with an ambitious pattern, nothing less than the entire visible, to the naked eye, universe. And I could just bring up this the printer that she used, or the knitting machine. There it is. On the screen now. So if you've got YouTube, you can see it on YouTube, but also on the TV repeater. Following on, she says, I thought, why not show everyone the science all around us? Why not show them the stars, she recalls. She even included a nerdy Easter egg. It represents the precise sky on the festival's opening night, and she began to add LED lights to fire up the 88 constellations that are included on her map. The 3 metre by 4 metre 15 kilogram end product unexpectedly won her a modest amount of international fame and recognition, including a retweet by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and is now the star of an exhibition at Victoria's State Library. And I've got another image here to bring up. Oh, yep, okay. So, she says it was so well received in the UK, and yet hardly anyone here in Australia has ever actually seen it, Spencer, now 39, says. Literally days after I made it, I stuffed it into a suitcase and took it overseas, but I just felt like it needed to be seen here in my own hometown. I see it as a scientific map. To my eyes, science is beautiful, and that's one of the things I really want to share with everyone. That science can be beautiful, and STEM, S-T-E-M, can be fun, genuinely fun. Linda Shorts co-curated the Handmade Universe exhibition, which features Spencer's work with 9 other contemporary artists, designers and makers, alongside 68 items from the State Library of Victoria and other collections. She says that she says the show grew from Spencer's donation of the star map back in 2019. There was something about her story, the kind of intimate and infinite possibilities of the work she was making, Short says, that really inspired the theme of the exhibition, that discoveries and explorations are not always things you find in books. They can actually take place at home or in lunchrooms and studios and backyards. And that creativity can be a really powerful way of discovering things. Other items in the exhibition reflected this theme. Old books from the library collection showing the changing maps of the Earth as our conception of the universe reorientated to the sun on the to the center on the sun, and a video work from artist Sans Faken tracks sunrise and sunset across the globe. The room is wrapped in a tapestry mural from Mandy Nicholson called The Star Country, representing the dreaming tracks of the Wandere. Star country is something that people forget to look up at when they live in an urban environment, says Nicholson. What's out there and what we can't see, and us being such a tiny little speck of sand in the scheme of things, always really inspired me. She loves the links between Western and Australian indigenous cosmology. Altar was the first named the Eagle Star by the ancient Babylonians and Sumerians. Her mob know Altar and Bunjil, the wedged eagle, tailed eagle, flanked by his two wives, the black swans. All the dreaming and songlines and dreaming tales have been around since time immemorial and link all those different layers of country together. When she's out on country watching meteors blaze across the sky or seeing an eclipse darken it, Nicholson wonders what her old mob would have thought of that, and thinks of the stories of the stars that have been lost as well as the ones saved to be retold for new generations. Yeah, so very smart young lass, and I saw that article today, and I thought that's definitely a winner for the first article for tonight, as such. So it's pretty good, isn't it? And it's a massive creation she's done, tapestry. I don't know, but if I had the wall for it, I'd certainly place it on one of the walls in the old building here, I guess. All right, this is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast coming to you from the studios of VK3CSJ in Narre Warren South. Very pleasant good evening to everybody who's tuned in tonight, all the folks up there at the dark sky side. And we have 4 emails that have come in on the email inbox. I'll just have a quick scan of what we see here. We've got an email from Don, VK3HDX, also from Andrew, VK3KIS, and from Stuart, VK3UOU. Oh, I forget your call sign all the time. I've got 2 mouses here. Let me just check that one. Bruce, VK3 Mike November. He's saying that it's the first time he's hearing me on 160 AM tonight, which is good, just above the noise. Okay. And from VK3 SPX Steve, also putting a report in, 30 over at Barringup, about 125 kilometres north of Melbourne. Excellent. Thanks, Stephen. Good. Thank you for the report. Really appreciate that. And, of course, Andrew is saying 80 metres. Audio is good. And Mr. Don Dennis is saying all good on 160 and AM on 80 metres. Excellent stuff. Thanks, guys. Any further reports? VK3EKH@gmail.com. VK3EKH@gmail.com. And all right, next article. It's amazing how the time flies when you're having fun. All right, this is courtesy of astronomy.com. The Voyager probes are not fully powering down yet. All right, there's a couple of slides here to run with as well. So I shall put the first slide up of Voyager itself. Okay, it gets me off the camera. That's the only other reason why I do it. Back to the article. Okay, NASA plans for missions to continue into the 2030s. It just goes to show how you spend the money on some very good engineering projects, and they last for a long time. The Voyager spacecraft have been flying through space for nearly 45 years, so seeing recent headlines that these interstellar pioneers are powering down understandably causes some waves. But are the Voyager spacecraft really about to shut down? To clarify the situation, Astronomy reached out to the mission press officer Keller Cofield, who was quick to correct the impressions, saying nothing new is starting now. She went on to explain that NASA is following a strategic plan to keep the oldest explorers going for as long as possible. And there's just another image here. Keeping the lights on. And the image you're seeing on the screen right now, the Voyager mission estimates the spacecrafts entered interstellar space in 2012, Voyager 1, and 2018 for Voyager 2. So that image on the screen there is just an artist's impression, more or less, of when Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 entered interstellar space in the scheme of things. So the twin Voyager spacecraft left Earth nearly 5 decades ago. Voyager 2 left our planet August 20, 1977, with Voyager 1 shortly after on September 5. Both spacecrafts are powered by 3 radioisotope thermoelectric generators, or RTGs, and have a host of instruments collecting and sending scientific data back to Earth. In Voyager 1's case, it takes about 20 hours and 33 minutes for the data to reach us. Now the RTGs aboard the Voyager spacecraft turn heat into electricity in order to power the probes. That heat comes from the decay of plutonium-238 radioisotopes. However, at this point in their lifetimes, the generators are producing about 40% less electricity than when they were first launched. To keep them running for as long as possible, NASA began aggressively planning which systems to shut off in 2019. But the agency has been tackling the problem of diminishing power for decades now. After 45 years in flight, says Cofield, the power budget is getting to a point where the team has to turn off whatever they can to keep the spacecraft running and doing science. And there's just one other graphic here I'll bring up. It's probably won't. It's a bit blurry around the edges, so it's a little bit of a low res graphic, but you can sort of read the printing on it without too much difficulty, I think. Back to the story. This graphic that you're seeing here is NASA's list of instruments that have been powered down on from the mission website. So if you're looking at the graphic on the screen, on Voyager 1, the systems that are still turned on are the cosmic ray subsystem, the low energy charged particles device, the magnetometer, and the plasma wave subsystem. What's been turned off is plasma science, imaging science subsystem, infrared interferometer spectrometer and radiometer, photopolarimeter subsystem, planetary radio astronomy. Oh, that's not good. Planetary radio astronomy, and the ultraviolet spectrometer. So those devices have been turned off on Voyager 1. Voyager 2, the cosmic ray subsystem is on, the low energy charged particle system is on, magnetometer is on, plasma wave subsystem is on, the plasma science is on, whereas with Voyager 1 that was off. With Voyager 2, the imaging science subsystem is off, infrared interferometer spectrometer and radiometer are off, photopolarimeter subsystem is off, planetary radio astronomy and ultraviolet spectrometer systems are all off to conserve the energy. So, over the last 3 years, this has involved turning off the heaters to 5 of the probe's scientific instruments. Amazingly, all 5 have continued to operate well below the temperatures they were tested at. The Voyager Science Steering Group will make further decisions on maintaining the power budget for the Voyager mission this August. According to Cofield, the creativity and innovation of the engineering team means that, in theory, the plans could stretch the Voyager missions into the 2030s, half a century longer than the probes were originally expected to last. However, that would require the team to turn off even more scientific instruments at some point. So, at least as it stands now, the Voyager spacecraft aren't going anywhere other than interstellar space at any time soon. So I guess that's good news. And while the transmitters continue to send signals back to Earth, we also continue to measure the strength of those signals and determine how sensitive our systems are at being able to detect these very, very weak signals coming in from these man-made objects so far into space. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria. Okay, next. This powerful pulsar is so young it might still be a teenager. A distant dwarf galaxy holds what researchers have called a super Crab nebula neutron star. And I've got a bit of a GIF image here which I can bring up. Where are we? Over there, and let me cut to that. I'll just put it into a loop. Alright, so as the story continues, and what you're seeing on the screen right now is, well, again, it's a simulation thing. The pulsar swept aside the shell of debris left behind after a massive star that birthed it went supernova. So anyway, let's continue on the article. Astronomers think they may have found the most powerful pulsar to date in the distant galaxy. The fast-spinning neutron star, the dense remains of a once massive star, is just beginning to merge from a supernova remnant that birthed it. The object, called VT1137-0337, was first seen in 2018 by the Vela Sky Survey, a project imaging about 80% of the night sky over 7 years. The pulsar did not appear in the early image taken by the VLA in 1998, suggesting that the object is also one of the youngest neutron stars yet found. Estimates put it at no longer than 60 to 80 years, but possibly as young as 14 years. The finding was announced today at the 240th meeting of the American Astronomical Society, AAS, in Pasadena, California, by lead author Dylan Dong, DD, a graduate student at Caltech. Metamorphosis. Some 395 million light-years distant, the neutron star lies within a dwarf galaxy called SDSS J113706-18-033737.1, which is experiencing a burst of star formation. Containing the mass of some 100 million suns, the galaxy made VT1137-0337 stand out compared to the other 20 such luminous transient objects found in that data. When the massive star that birthed the object reached the end of its life, it exploded in a supernova, concealing the baby neutron star behind a shell of debris. But like a butterfly breaking free of its cocoon, VT1137's powerful magnetic field swept through the surrounding particles, accelerating them to nearly the speed of light and creating strong radio emissions. This ultra-dense object has basically the mass of the Sun crammed into a space the size of a city, Dong explained. When you cram so much material in such a small space, you amplify the magnetic field, meaning you have a huge amount of magnetic energy concentrated in this object, and that the energy, and when that energy got released, it inflated a bubble within the gas left over from the supernova, creating this pulsar wind nebula, which I can show you now. This next image. Continuing on. Let me see, where was I? So before now, the star guts are basically so dense, said Dong, absorbing all the radio light from the pulsar within, but eventually the supernova becomes transparent, revealing the nebula. So, to get a sense of how energetic VT1137 is, the researchers are looking much closer to home, to the most famous example of a pulsar wind nebula, the Crab Nebula. And of course, the image you're seeing on the screen right now, the pulsar at the center of the Crab Nebula was born from a supernova that appeared in the sky in the year 1054. So that's the image of the Crab Nebula up there, pretty close resemblance of it. The object we have found appears to be approximately 10,000 times more energetic than the Crab, with a stronger magnetic field, Dong said in an accompanying press release. It likely is an emerging supercrab. But the magnetic field surrounding this VT1137 object is so strong that the researchers are wondering if it belongs to another class of neutron star, magnetars. Magnetars are neutron stars with the strongest magnetic fields in the universe. Their magnetic fields are around 1,000 trillion times stronger than Earth's, and somewhere between 100 to 1,000 times stronger than a pulsar's full stop. In that case, VT1137 would still mark the first time astronomers have seen a magnetar appearing, which, according to Dong, would also be extremely exciting. And of course, why not? You can find that article on astronomy.com, June 15. It's one of the articles I've been putting over for a little while. Okay, 21 minutes to 11. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria. Okay, just checking another email there. Okay, now this is something I've been putting off for the last few weeks, but it's just a little bit of a rehash of the Artemis program. So if you haven't heard of Artemis, let me introduce you to Artemis. This is a courtesy of astronomy.com website, June 15. Artemis inside NASA's plan to return to the moon. The US aims to send astronauts back to the... Oh, hang on, let me go change the camera. Always forget about the vision side of it. There we are. That's the old story. I've got images here too, actually. There's about, four images associated with this article, which I'll skim quickly through. Continuing on. The US aims to send astronauts back to the lunar surface by 2025. Here's how they'll do it, piece by piece. NASA gained much of its seniority from its success during the space race, accumulating in landing men on the moon. For some time now, the agency has been hard at work on its next generation space transportation system to return crews to Earth's only satellite for the first time in more than half a century. The program, collectively known as Artemis, aims to not only put humans back on the moon, but to ultimately use the moon itself as a stepping stone to reach Mars. Artemis, named after the twin sister of Apollo in Greek mythology, is as ambitious in scope as it is massive in scale. If successful, it will represent a monumental human achievement. The Artemis program is built around several large-scale pieces of spaceflight hardware. Here we provide an overview of three of the most important components: the Space Launch System, SLS, the Orion Spacecraft, and the Lunar Gateway Station. Let me just bring up the picture of this rocket on the launch pad. So what you're seeing there in the image is the SLS rocket, which sits on a mobile launching platform at the Kennedy Space Center in March 2022. The Space Launch System, SLS, is the beating heart of Artemis. It is the heavy lift launch vehicle that will get Artemis hardware first into orbit around the Earth, then into the Moon. That is, to the Moon. SLS is designed to be flexible based on the needs of the mission, launching crew or cargo to Earth orbit, sending material and personnel to the Moon, etc. The rocket will thus be available in different configurations known as blocks. The SLS Block 1 will be able to lift more than 59,000 pounds or 26,760 kilograms to the Moon. Later versions will lift more than 100,000 pounds or 45,360 kilograms to the Moon. Crewed versions of the SLS will carry an escape system atop the Orion crew capsule, whereas cargo versions will not. SLS can carry payloads of various sizes using different launch fairings depending on what a given mission requires. While all versions of the SLS are physically imposing, some will even be taller than the famed Saturn V rocket that took the Apollo astronauts to the Moon. That's a big rocket. SLS consists of two solid rocket boosters, SRBs, attached to a central liquid-fueled core stage. Although on the surface, this looks a lot like the Space Shuttle program's launch vehicle, which consisted of two SRBs and an external tank. There are several key differences though. SLS or SRBs will consist of 5 segments each, compared with 4 segments for the shuttle's SRBs. The larger SRBs will allow Artemis to send payloads beyond Earth orbit, something the shuttle's SRB could not do. These segments will initially be manufactured from leftover hardware from the shuttle program. After these leftover boosters components are used up, Northrop Grumman will begin producing new SRB segments for later Artemis missions. The core stage, despite its familiar look, is fundamentally different than the shuttle's external tank. The Artemis core stage, in addition to containing liquid hydrogen and oxygen fuel tanks, will house 4 RS-25 engines, while the shuttle's external tank had no engines of its own and instead powered by the shuttle's orbiter 3 main RS-25 engines. Early Artemis flights will use upgraded leftover Space Shuttle main engines, or SSMEs, but later flights will use an improved version of this proven reliable design. The core stage will hold more than 500,000 gallons, or 1.9 million litres of liquid hydrogen, and almost 200,000 gallons, or 757,000 litres of liquid oxygen. It is built at NASA's Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans, which also built the Space Shuttle program's external tanks. And there's another image here. Meanwhile, the Orion spacecraft, and what you're seeing on the screen right now, is an expanded view. It shows the various components of the Orion spacecraft from left to right: the launch orbit system, crew module, and the service module. The Orion spacecraft. The Orion spacecraft, which will carry human crews, is analogous to the Apollo Command and Service Modules CSM. Orion was originally designed to be part of NASA's cancelled Constellation program, now cancelled Constellation program, which Artemis has since superseded. Lockheed Martin, manufacturers of the spacecraft's crew module CM, which is coupled with an ESA built service module. Like Apollo's CSM, the Orion will also be topped by a launch escape system that fits over the CM. Its 3 solid rocket motors can be ignited if a situation arises requiring the astronauts to separate from the SLS during launch. The Orion CM is larger than its Apollo counterpart and can be accommodated for astronauts per mission, as compared to Apollo's 3. With a diameter of 16.5 feet, 5 meters and 5 meters, about 3 feet, or 1 meter wider than Apollo, Orion's extra space should come in handy during longer duration missions. While the longest Apollo mission, Apollo 17, lasted about 12.5 days, Orion is designed to accommodate space flights up to 21 days in length. In contrast to Apollo's crowded control panels, which featured hundreds of manual switches and controls designed to be operated by hands in bulky pressure suit gloves, Orion will be fully controllable via just a small number of flat-screen interfaces, similar to SpaceX's manned Dragon spacecraft with limited switches. Nonetheless, Orion is markedly reminiscent of the Apollo design in several ways. The general shape of the two spacecraft is similar, and both make use of a ablative heat shield during re-entry into Earth's atmosphere and parachutes to allow splashdown into the ocean. Interestingly, Textron, which acquired the company that developed the material for the Apollo heat shield, is also constructing the heat shield for Orion. A key feature of Orion, and one that distinguishes it from Apollo, are its 4 solar panels. These panels, which will generate a combined 11 kilowatts of electricity, are stowed during launch and deployed once Orion is safely in space. Another critical difference from Apollo is that Orion will have the novel ability to function in a quiescent mode for up to 6 months, during which time the spacecraft can be docked with another piece of hardware, i.e. the space station. This is somewhat analogous to the manner in which Russian Soyuz spacecraft dock with International Space Station is for extended periods of time. And final picture. If I can find it, there it is. The Lunar Orbiter Platform Gateway. And here on the screen is an artist's concept showing the fully constructed gateway in orbit around the Moon, including an Orion spacecraft docked to the space station. In contrast to SLS and Orion, which bear much similarity to prior space hardware, the Lunar Orbital Platform Gateway, or LOPG, sometimes called Lunar Gateway or simply Gateway, is truly something original. A manned space station that will orbit the Moon. Gateway will be about 1/6 the size of the International Space Station, but nonetheless it will serve as a variety of functions: a local mission control for crewed missions to the lunar surface, a site for the spacecraft to rendezvous on trips between the Moon and Earth, a platform for astronomical observations, a space-based science laboratory, and perhaps one day a launch point for mission to Mars. Much like the International Space Station, Gateway will be constructed in stages, with different modules and components launched into space at different times. NASA has contracted with SpaceX to use its Falcon Heavy rocket to loft the first 2 components of the space station into space: the power and propulsion element, PPE, and the habitation and logistics output, HALO. The PPE is a solar electric ion propulsion module that will allow Gateway to shift its orbit as needed, while HALO is a compact pressurized crew module that will also serve as a site for spacecraft to dock and as communications hub. The pair will integrate on the ground before launch. Other modules will join with the PPE and HALO later on, including an additional planned habitation module. Finally, NASA now plans to land humans on the Moon again by 2025. Considering the relatively short timeline, some have wondered whether the agency is being foolishly optimistic or making promises to stick to the schedule, especially given the enormous technical challenges and financial cost of the program. Development of the Artemis spacesuits alone is projected to cost $1 billion, and the entire project is currently estimated to cost $93 billion through 2025. Quite remarkable, very remarkable. There's just another couple of paragraphs. Gateway also Gateway has also met with criticism, most notably by Apollo 11 moonwalker Buzz Aldrin and former NASA Administrator Michael Griffin. Griffin pointed out that the Gateway won't really be useful until lunar landings are a reality again. For now, Gateway is still on the books to launch no earlier than November 2024, but things could change. NASA is clearly eager to move forward with Artemis, but the agency has had to contend with several setbacks, including the COVID-19 pandemic and related supply chain issues. It is worth noting that NASA has yet to launch the first uncrewed Artemis 1 mission after scrubbing the first attempt at a wet dress rehearsal for the SLS in April. That 3-day test is now rescheduled for June 18, after which NASA will discuss the results and potential launch date. The space race that spurred Apollo to the moon and had behind it much of the nation's support and a meaningful deadline of December 31, 1969 to land on the moon. But Artemis is ultimately a different program for a different century, one that many feel will need to prove its value to succeed. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel. Yes. Okay. All right. Down to my last 7 minutes. I see. And okay. Just seeing what we've got here. All right. I'll throw this in. This will probably take a few minutes. New fast radio burst challenges what astronomers know about these powerful phenomena. This is June 22. So this is a fairly current article. There's a picture here. Okay. The researchers used a radio telescope in New Mexico to study a particularly interesting fast radio burst, and that's a genuine image you're seeing there, I suspect. Astronomers studying fast radio bursts recently discovered one that repeats and has a persistent radio signal and originated in a galaxy much closer than it should have. A newly discovered fast radio burst has some unique properties that are simultaneously giving astronomers important clues into what may cause these mysterious astronomical phenomena, while also calling into question one of the few things scientists thought they knew about these powerful flares, as my colleagues and I discovered or described in a new study in Nature on June 8, 2022. Fast radio bursts, or FRBs, are extremely bright pulses of radio bursts or radio waves that come from faraway galaxies. They release as much energy in a millisecond as the sun does over many days. Researchers here at West Virginia University detected the first FRB back in 2007. In the past 15 years, astronomers have detected around 800 FRBs, with more being discovered every day. When a telescope captures an FRB, one of the most important features researchers look at is something called dispersion. Dispersion is basically a measure of how stretched out an FRB is when it reaches Earth. The plasma that lies between stars and galaxies causes all light, including radio waves, to slow down. But lower frequencies feel this effect more strongly and slow down more than higher frequencies. FRBs contain a range of frequencies, so the higher the frequency light in the bursts hits Earth before the lower frequencies, causing the dispersion. This allows researchers to use dispersion to estimate how far from Earth an FRB originated. The more stretched out an FRB is, the more plasma the signal must have passed through. The farther away the source must be. And there's another little graphic here, a little chart recording type thing. So what you're seeing there is the top of this diagram shows 6 spikes in radio wave brightness that are 6 bursts from FRB 190520. The bottom half shows the frequency range of each individual burst. So it's a little graphic that needs a bit of studying. So why does it matter? The new FRB my colleagues and I discovered is named FRB 190520. We found it using the 500 meter aperture spherical telescope in China. An immediately apparent interesting thing about FRB 190520 was that it is one of the only 24 repeating FRBs, and repeats much more frequently than others, producing 75 bursts over a span of 6 months in 2020. Our team then used the Very Large Array, a radio telescope in New Mexico, to further study this FRB and successfully pinpoint the location of its source. It's a dwarf galaxy, roughly 3 billion light years from Earth. It was then that we started to realize how truly unique and important this FRB is. First, we found that there is a persistent, though much fainter radio signal being emitted by something from the same place that the FRB 190520 came from. Of the more than 800 FRBs discovered to date, only one other has a similar persistent radio signal. Second, since we were able to pinpoint the FRB came from a dwarf galaxy, we were able to determine exactly how far away the galaxy is from Earth. But this result didn't make sense. Much to our surprise, the distance estimated we made using the dispersion of the FRB was 30 billion light years from Earth, a distance 10 times larger than the actual 3 billion light years to the galaxy. Astronomers have only been able to pinpoint the exact location, and therefore distance from Earth, of 19 other FRB sources. For the rest of the roughly 800 known FRBs, astronomers have to rely on dispersion alone to estimate their distance from Earth. For other 19 FRBs' well-known locations, the distance estimated from dispersion are very similar to the real distances to their source galaxies. But this new FRB shows that estimates using dispersion can sometimes be incorrect and throws many assumptions out the window. So, what is still unknown? Astronomers in this new field still don't know what exactly produces FRBs, so every new discovery or piece of information is important. Our new discovery raises specific questions, including whether persistent radio signals are common and what conditions produce them, and whether the same phenomenon that produces FRBs is responsible for emitting the persistent radio signals. So what's next? My colleagues are going to focus on studying FRB 190520 using a host of different telescopes around the world. By studying the FRB, its galaxies and the space environment surrounding its source, we are hoping to find answers to many of the mysteries revealed. More answers will come from other FRB discoveries in the coming years too. The more FRBs astronomers catalogue, the greater the chances of discovering FRBs with interesting properties that can help complete the puzzle of these fascinating astronomical phenomena. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast. I was going to throw in an update on this James Webb Space Telescope. This would probably take another 5 minutes. I'll just read out like a bit of a paragraph here. I've got an image that's been taken from the James Webb. I'll just throw that up, and I'll just very quickly summarise the article. The James Webb Space Telescope prepares for science work. The James Webb Space Telescope is finally ready to do science, and it's seeing universe more clearly than even engineers had hoped for. In fact, the image on the screen that you're seeing right now, the mirror on the James Webb Telescope is fully aligned and producing incredibly sharp images like this test image of a star. Just having a quick look through this article, see how I can... Here's another image for those that are watching YouTube, and the repeater just goes to show the difference between telescopes. So the image on the left is taken by the Spitzer telescope, whereas the same image is imaged by the Webb. So in comparison, you can see straight away the improvement that the James Webb Telescope has already started to do. So I'll go straight to the bottom on this one. So what's next for the Webb? As of June 15, 2022, all of Webb's instruments are on and have taken their first images. Additionally, 4 imaging modes, 3 time-scale modes, and 3 spectroscopic model modes have been tested and certified, leaving us 3 to go. On July 12, NASA plans to release a suite of teaser observations that illustrates Webb's capabilities. These will show the beauty of Webb imagery and also give astronomers a real taste of the quality of data they will receive. After July 12, the James Webb Telescope will start working on full-time on its science mission. The detailed schedule for coming year hasn't been released yet, but astronomers across the world are eagerly waiting to get the first data back from the most powerful space telescope ever built. Pretty amazing stuff. So there it is. All right, spaceweather.com. We have to mention that, of course. Okay, let me bring up my webpage. And the solar wind is currently at 412.2 kilometers a second. It is a gale at a density of 3.28 protons per cubic centimeter. There is currently 4 sunspots on the disk of the sun, which I can bring up on the screen as I speak. White light images of the sun wanted. This is on spaceweather.com. They want white light images of the sun. A wildfire in California has cut off electricity to Stanford University. Some of the Solar Dynamics Observatory, where did I get some from? I'll just start that again. A wildfire in California has cut off electricity to Stanford University, home of the Solar Dynamics Observatory, SDO, data center. As a result, we are not receiving images from the SDO, but you can help. Readers are encouraged to submit their own full disk white light images of the sun so we can see what the sun looks like today. So for those that are up at the dark sky site, rip out your solar telescopes and take some images tomorrow, huh? So the sunspot number is 69. And the radio sun is currently at 121 solar flux units. Potentially hazardous asteroids. There are 2,279 potentially hazardous asteroids. And that's about all I shall report. But further information can be gleaned by going to spaceweather.com. All right. I shall leave it at that. How quick that hour has gone. So thanks very much everybody for tuning in tonight, and and for sending me reports on the email. I can see that Ian has a report there, and he says something, like, all I can see is something about being unfortunate. I haven't been able to listen to a callback recently. Is a bit aware of this? Okay, that's all right. No worries, Ian. That's fine. There's always something that will prevent us from doing things. It's just the nature of the beast. Anyway, all right. This whole session will be recorded, or has been recorded, on YouTube. So if anybody wants to catch up with tonight, if you have missed the beginning of the session tonight, you can, as soon as I stop YouTube streaming, the tonight's session will be available to view not too long after, and you can catch up with the beginning part if you desire to. I don't get huge numbers watching YouTube, and I'm not too fussed about by it. I'm very much a heavy YouTube watcher. There's a lot of sites that I go to, and I'm always impressed with the millions of viewers that some YouTube channels get, but there's a reason for that. But I seem to average only about 20,000. No, 20. Just 20. And that's fine, because I'm nothing special. I don't do anything very particularly special here. And this broadcast has been going to air since 1988, so that's probably one significant important thing about this ASV radio thing. But of course I haven't been doing it since 1988. I only started this whole thing since 2008, I think, somewhere around about that time. So we shall continue on. If I feel desire that to promote this thing that I do a bit more, I'll get around to it one day, but I doubt it very much. On that note, there is something else I was going to say. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is VK3EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, in its 100th year, and we are concluding transmissions on the medium wave service on 1865 kilohertz AM. So thank you for anybody who's been listening to AM. I do appreciate AM reports, and how far I am being heard on AM, particularly locally around Melbourne. Would be interesting to know more. So, but I'm only running about 100 watts into a vertical at the back of the property. So that's that. This is VK3EKH concluding 1865 for tonight. Thank you for listening. Standby stations on 80 metres for a quick callback. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel shutting down the 1865 service. Oh dear. Alright, now let me see. I've got one speaker connecting between two radios. Hang on, let me just check. Oh yep, good. It's alright. Things are working. So this is VK3EKH with pen and paper in hand. Now, any stations wishing to check in on tonight's session? Okay, there was a massive double, but we got VK3 VIN, VK3 HDX, VK5 Whiskey Alpha. Who else is there? Okay. Writing call signs down very quick. I muck up my own printing. So between VK5 Whiskey Alpha, I missed a station. So I've got VK3 VIN, VK3 HDX, VK5 WA, VK3 JMA, who is just a check-in. Okay, no worries, Mark. VK3 SPX and VK3 CAH. Who else is there? Okay, Charlie Alpha Tango. VK6 Charlie Zulu as well, we heard. VK6 Charlie Zulu, VK3 Charlie Alpha Tango. Alright, I'm at the bottom of my piece of paper here. Is there any other stations? VK3 EKH. Sorry, say that again. Damn it. Yeah, okay. I'll get back to you in a minute. My changeover relay in the linear has just decided to lock on. It doesn't handle too much off and on, it seems. In fact, I'll go and turn it off in a minute so that I can hear noise. I'll just go to the top and we'll get through this. VK3VIN, g'day Ian, VK3EKH.
G'day Clint, running the Voyager tonight, 20 watts, year 5 and 9, speaking from DB over. Good broadcast, I missed some of it, so that YouTube recording it could be very handy. But gee, yeah, the effect of that wildfire over in America, pretty devastating. Let's hope lots of people can contribute their images, etc., to make sure that the service is kept up and running, and that the effect of that wildfire, bushfire as we call them, is put out very quickly. They really cop it over there, don't they? I think they call it global warming or whatever, but let's not get too controversial. Anyway, very interesting conditions tonight, as I explained in the email. And I think that's the time of night, time of year, and some atmospheric disturbances as well. Anyway, a good broadcast. Thank you. VK3EKH, VK3VIN.
Yeah, good on you, Ian. VK3VIN, VK3EKH, and I've turned the linear off. I've got to service this relay that sticks. It'll work, maybe 2, 3, 4 changeovers, and then it decides to stick. So I've got the linear off right now. I'm running only barefoot, 100 watts. So hopefully everybody will hear me. Of course you will. All right, thanks, Ian. And yeah, like elsewhere, once a fire kicks off, the amount of pollutants in the air is it ruins all kinds of visibility. So it's pretty good that they're asking citizen science to come together to try and collect visions of the sun. So if you've got an observatory and it's capable of looking at the sun with the appropriate filters and whatnot, and you've got a camera attached to it, take some pictures tomorrow. Might be really worthwhile. You'll get published in the spaceweather.com website most likely, if it's a really good picture. Anyway, all right. Thanks, Ian. Good signal from you. Don, VK3HDX, VK3EKH. G'day, Don.
Yeah, g'day, Clint. VK3EKH in the group, VK3HDX. Great broadcast tonight. Really enjoyed it. Those Voyager Spacecraft, amazing things to be still working this far on. Even if, they've had to switch a few things off, incredible. And the Webb telescope, I'm just so looking forward to seeing some more images from that. It's another amazing device. I thought you might have mentioned the ASV on the news last night with their proposal to put the telescopes in the middle of Caulfield Racecourse and the new facility. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it was a good story on Channel 9 News last night. Anyway, thanks for the broadcast, and I'll be back next week for another one. VK3EKH in the group, VK3HDX.
Yeah, thanks, Don. VK3 HDX, VK3 EKH returning. No, I didn't see that. I usually watch the Channel 7 news. and that's about it really. I used to go across the ABC, but I usually catch up with the ABC News via the Foxtel system. And in the last 12 months, Foxtel's gone to a national ABC feed, so I miss the local ABC. And I could go to the television direct, I suppose, off air, but no, if it wasn't on Channel 7, I didn't get to see that. But yeah, I'm kind of aware that the ASV are looking at an area of the racecourse to set up telescopes. I haven't been to that racecourse, so I don't know exactly how it looks and where we do set up telescopes. But I think for the last 6 months now, the ASV have been in contact with the Caulfield Racecourse to use one of their fields for setting up telescopes. It can only be done, of course, if there's no horse racing on. But I believe that the location offers a really good view of the sky. I missed that article, unfortunately. So thanks for that one, Don. I didn't catch up. I didn't see it though. Anyway, all right. Next on the list was VK5 Whiskey Alpha. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name. VK5WA, VK3EKH. Dallas.
Plutonium generators. It's sort of astounding thing. Atomic energy is in mysterious guises. There's so much energy in basically what is a vacuum. Well, not a vacuum, empty space, or maybe it's not empty. No, it's just constant. Anyway, I hope you're hearing that conversation is not too bad. That's some of the ones at the end there are pretty big speak to me from VK3. Anyway, I'll let you go. Catch you next time. I won't be. I'll be away again. And the bands have been replaced over the last few weeks, sometimes there by the end. Anyway, VK5WA going clear.
Yeah, good on you, Dallas. VK5WA, VK3EKH returning. Not a problem. You're 5 and 9 plus. 5 and 9 plus at the moment. When you first came on, you're a bit weak, but the signal did come up a little bit to 5 to 10 over. So you're not doing too bad at the moment. But no worries. Fine on the comments there. And thank you very much, Dallas, for calling in tonight. Much appreciated indeed. Now, the next station was Mark, VK3JMA, but he was just calling in, so I'll skip Mark. Mark's a local lad, probably in his car, heading off to work. So I'll put it across to Steve, VK3SPX, I think it was, VK3 Sierra Papa X-Ray, VK3EKH. Take it away, Steve. Yeah, thanks, Dave. VK3 SPX, VK3 EKH, and I think you're in Endeavour Hills, so you're not that far away. But surprisingly, not a very strong signal. I think you might not be on your loop. I'm not sure. I know you've got two antennas there, and I think when you switch to the loop, is it the loop? Your signal does lift up quite a bit. So, but we're hearing you. That's the main thing, I guess. Yeah, I totally agree with the what you're saying about the Voyagers and the Pioneer in both Voyagers. It's just a stunning technology, and long after the human race has left the Earth and and killed itself off one way or another, and that the Earth expires and the Sun blows up and then the Earth expires, these probes will continue to travel through space, and it's like a science fiction movie. It's hopeful that maybe some life form in the far off distant future will come across these probes, and a bit like the episode in Star Trek where Picard goes unconscious for 20 minutes on the deck on the bridge of the Enterprise and lives an entire lifetime an entire lifetime in 20 minutes. It's called Arrow's Light. It's one of the best Star Trek episodes if you haven't seen it. That's another story. Sorry, I just went completely off on a tangent there. Thanks, Steve. Now, next station's VK3 Charlie Alpha Hotel. I'm not sure of your name exactly, so we'll see how we go. VK3 Charlie Alpha Hotel, I think it was. VK3 EKH. Oh, sorry. I knew I'd stuffed it up somewhere along the way. Blame it on the lousy relay in my linear amplifier. I've got to do something about that. Anyway, have a say, Colvin. VK3CAL, VK3EKH. Boy, oh boy, hasn't the band dropped out? I'm not sure if you're still talking, Colvin. Have you put it back to me, or are you still talking? Yeah, not very strong, Colvin. VK3CAL up there at Koondbrook. I'll have to plot that one in on the map. Anyway, VK3CAL, VK3EKH. Yeah, okay, Colvin. Thanks for calling in, mate. It's the signal is not good heading your way tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like the band has fallen out. I'll be surprised if I hear VK6CZ, but we'll give it a go. So thanks, Colvin. No worries at all. You're in the log, as they say. Now, across, I think it's Dennis, VK6 Charlie Zulu. VK6 Charlie Zulu, if you are copying. This is VK3 EKH. Take it away. Sorry, didn't copy that. Who was that? Oh, okay. All right. Maybe I did. Yep, maybe I did. I thought it was a VK6. All right. VK3 Alpha Charlie Zulu. I think that's Bill. I'm not sure. Peter. I can't remember. VK3 EKH. Take it away. Yeah, Roger, Peter, we got that. VK3 Alpha Charlie Zulu, Peter. VK3 EKH returning. What was that last signal? You said I was 4 by 2 or 4 by 7. Where was it? pretty good. That's all right. We struggled with the local, but the long distance is working fine. Yeah, once I get my 80 meter monoband beam up and running, I'll be doing really great. I wish. Dear. All right. Look, thanks, Peter. Thanks very much for that. Really appreciate the report. So I know that I bookmarked the Adelaide South Australian SDR, and it's on the desktop here. But I've got so much other things happening on the desktop that I forget to check it. But anyway, thanks, Peter. Excellent stuff. Thanks very much for all that. Now, was there one more station, VK3CAT perhaps? I think there might have been VK3EKH. No, so I'm not too sure because my relay wasn't switching. Was there a VK3CAT, Charlie Alpha Tango?
There was definitely the VK6 Quint.
Yeah, I thought there was too. But I've turned my linear off, so I've lost the advantage of an extra couple of 100 watts here. And of course, I think the band has fallen out. So is the VK6 station still copying, hopefully, VK3 EKH listening?
Yeah, it was VK6 Charlie Zulu Quint, and he was 5 and 7 here, so he was a pretty good string phase.
But you can't hear anything now?
No, not now.
Yeah, so I thought I heard that correctly. I was just checking him on QRZ, and it's Dennis, yeah. VK6CZ, Dennis using Christmas Island. That's all right. Damn, what a time for me to have to turn off my linear. Anyway, so that's Dennis, VK6 Charlie Zulu, and according to QRZ.com, it's Christmas Island. Have I ever worked somebody out of Christmas Island before? I'm just trying to think. I can't remember. It would have been maybe when I was a novice. Yeah, maybe when I was a novice that I worked somebody out at Christmas Island. That's going back many multiple years. Oh, well, all right. This is VK3 EKH. Is there any other stations which you need to check in tonight? Oh, the band has fallen. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I do appreciate that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially 9 stations there that are called in. So that's keeping up with the Joneses. So I really do appreciate all that. Makes it all worthwhile. To everybody on the chat window, I see Steve VK3SPX has come up on the chat window. He says, I'm actually 166 kilometres from you. Right, I thought you were in Endeavour Hills. Who was I thinking that was in Endeavour Hills? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We also have Rob, VK3KHN, Dave, VK3KDM, Mount Burnett Observatory, and like I always give Mount Burnett a little bit of a promotion, so if you're local to the hills here, Mount Burnett Observatory is only about 20 minutes away from me here. Just visit the website, Mount Burnett Observatory on the web, your favourite search engine, and all will be revealed. Every Friday night, the MBO has something happening up at the site. If it's clouded in, they generally have a speaker. It's usually an 8-ohm speaker, but my sense of humour. But they but they have somebody speaking, and it's always a good night up there. Nice, cosy little log cabin that they have up there at the observatory. Oh dear. Thanks, David. We also have Joe, VK3BKI, and Kim, VK5FUS here. I hope you're still copying there, Kim. We have... it's changing as I speak. Oh, I've got to fix this mouse up. Come on, mouse, work for me. It's a wireless mouse. Maybe the battery's flat. We have John. Good day. Hey, John. VK3BLX. Watching on YouTube. Yeah, all right. Martin, VK7JH, plus 10 over 9 into launch system. Richard, VK3VRS, and that's all I can see here tonight on the chat window. So thanks, guys, for coming up on the chat window. Thanks, everybody, for sending emails tonight. Two, no more emails. Nope. All right, that's cool. Okay. All right. And once again, I shall promote Chris, VK3AML, every Saturday night. If you're not watching or doing anything on Saturday evening from 9:30 onwards for about 2 or 3 hours, tune in to Chris Long, VK3 Alpha Mike Lima, who runs a YouTube, a high-quality, high-definition YouTube stream, and for at least 2 to 3 hours, he will run educational material, which is always worthwhile hanging into. He also broadcasts on Channel D, which is 147.475 FM, and he'll have a callback afterwards from local amateurs. But my suggestion is to tune in to the YouTube channel, VK3AML. You'll find him on YouTube. Just type in VK3AML. He's live YouTube, but usually is dated on the day. So tomorrow will be the 25th. So his YouTube link will be generally VK3AML the 25th of June. But nevertheless, just type in VK3 Alpha Mike Lima, and you'll catch up with his wonderful broadcast that he does every Saturday night from 9:30 onwards. And simulcasts on 2 meters FM, but he does run some incredibly very interesting material, and it's mostly historic, but occasionally coming into some very other interesting, more recent items too. So I usually tune in to Chris's broadcasts, not from the start, normally about halfway or towards the end actually, but I still catch up with the YouTube feed because it's recorded and you can catch up with it at a later time. On that note, this is VK3EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, concluding transmissions for tonight on 3541. Thank you for watching and being there tonight, and we'll be back next Friday to do it all again. So this is VK3EKH with VK3CSJ on the microphone, saying a very pleasant good evening to you all. Stay warm, have a nice week, and we'll catch up with you next week. Cheerio. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, I know 100 watts can go a long way. So, not a problem. Thanks, mate. Yeah, no worries, Ian. That might have been Dave, VK3 Alpha Sierra Echo, VK3 ASC. Does it sound like it?
Oh, look, it could have been. He was very low down here, but I could hear another signal there, somebody else calling in.
Yeah, if it had been Dave, he would have been very strong, because Dave is now living north of Ballarat. What's the place called again? It's just north of Ballarat. North of Bendigo. Wrong. North of Bendigo. I can't think of its name. Anyway, he's got a 60-acre property up there, and he's just set up antennas. Yeah, but he would have been booming in at your location, so probably wasn't Dave. Doesn't matter. We'll catch up with Dave a little later on, I guess. Anyway, thanks, Sam. I wish. Thanks, Sam. All right. On that note, we shall conclude the YouTube stream. So, where's my mouse? vMix says that there is an update available, so I'm going to have to run an update on vMix. Not right now, though. Maybe in a few minutes. So, thank you for watching the TV. the next broadcast will be the WIA broadcast on Sunday morning, but I'm going to ask Richard to do it. If you're around, Sir Richard. In fact, I'll go and turn the radio on. I haven't turned the radio on yet. Hang on a sec. Oh, that's on. Now I've got you. Okay. I'm now monitoring all the simplex frequencies in the repeater. But, yeah, all right. I'll give you a call on 2 meters in a minute. 70, sorry. So this is VK3CSJ. I don't have... Oh, there it is. There we are. VK3CSJ and ASV Radio concluding on YouTube stream. Thank you for watching YouTube. I often wonder just who watches this stream. So, as they say, please leave a message down below. I know occasionally I do get them. Anyway, I'm out of here. Bye everyone. I'm watching the... why is that doing that? My colour bars don't... Oh, it's because I'm doing that. Okay, hang on a sec. I'll make this nice and professional for YouTube at least. Anyway, cheers everybody watching on YouTube. We'll see you back next week. Until then.